Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hub, where we bring real life, real stories to life for you in hopes that you can learn something and get some inspiration. We are on episode 2, part 2 of my conversation with CaraJoy Nash from She's Online Agency. And if you missed the first one, please go back because we've got some really amazing takeaways in there. And you can go on our YouTube page, on our website, thepowherhub.com. She's Online has it as well, and definitely check her out first. Okay. So again, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome.
What a first episode. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Oh my God. So again, please check that out. So in the first one, we talked about, you were a single mom, young.
Mm-hmm. Young divorced mom. Okay. So that's another layer. And at around 25, mm-hmm. you were diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Yep.
Totally changed the course of your life.
180
that you totally didn't plan for. And that's why I think it's so important for people to really go back and hear that journey that you were on, mm-hmm. and how that kind of changed everything for you. But not necessarily in a way I think people would think, because you really overcame a lot. I mean, just so people understand, you were a field organizer for the Obama re-election campaign.
I was.
You have multiple degrees.
I did.
3. Hello.
One more,
right? And quickly tell everybody what you have degrees in, because this is pretty cool.
So I have an Associates of Applied Science in Criminal Justice. I have a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice. Both of my undergraduates degrees, I was focusing on criminal behavior, antisocial personalities especially. And then instead of getting my Master's of Forensic Psychology, as we talked about, yes. I went and worked for the Obama campaign, and I have my MBA.
Well then.
Yes.
You could be like on Law and Order SVU as like a,
No, I can't watch it anymore.
You can't watch it because it's all wrong, right?
It is. During my associate's degree, one of my criminal investigation 1, you have to go through a crime scene. Obviously, it's not a real one, but it's a made up one. And watching Law and Order, which I loved, I couldn't watch
because you just know it's all wrong.
They were wearing booties. They were picking up objects with their hands. It's like, come on.
That's so funny. It's one of my favorite shows. But yeah, I totally understand. So again, CaraJoy and I are friends, but we also are colleagues. We work together. She has helped bring a vision to life with Women Mean Business for the Chamber, where she produces. She's the magic behind the camera for us. And I work with her company that she's the CEO of, She's Online Agency. Mm-hmm. So tell everybody, you've done so much mm-hmm. in your life. How did She's Online come to fruition? And tell everybody what She's Online actually does.
So what She's Online actually does. She's Online Agency, we are a marketing company specializing in women in business. It's hashtag, get noticed, hashtag be remembered. The simplest way that I can explain what I do.
And she does it because you are also the magic in getting Women Mean Business out there. You also do it for Cynthia Heathcote here at Contemporary Living, and you really do what we cannot do.
Right. Social media, digital marketing,
strategizing. You really do a lot of that.
Your messaging, your value proposition, the images, the video. It is
the SEO. They're like the stuff that nobody quite understands can do.
The SEO of social media, which is
gives me anxiety, that I can't do. That's where you come in so many ways and kind of bring it all together mm-hmm. for a business and somebody to kind of get, not just promote themselves, but kind of you tie everything in so they get noticed.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So how did you've done so much. Again, how did She's Online come to fruition for you?
So like we talked about when I had volunteered to create the website mm-hmm. for Ohio Association of Behavior Analysis with never once.
Right. You didn't have any. So the quick story is that you got an email, you wanted to be into that, mm-hmm. and that was kind of your in.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Got you.
And from that, I started managing the social media because, with a website comes social media. And my significant other and I, we've been together for 10 years. Jeff Kilman, who I dearly love. We about 3 months after we started dating back in 2009, we were having dinner and he said, I don't plan on living in Ohio for the rest of my life. I'm like, good, because neither do I.
Okay.
My son was in high school, but when he became old enough, that my plan was to leave. I wanted to go someplace warm. Having arthritis and living in Ohio,
not fun.
No,
it does not. No. It's not conducive to a good life.
Exactly.
It really isn't. Yeah.
So he sold his business, and we moved to South Florida, and bought another one. Joined the Chamber of the Palm Beaches, and they have a women's group. A women in business, just a little group. And I was at the group, and long story short, 2 women, Heather Gray and Shanaz Malik, who's my dear best friend, told me about the Women's Chamber. I'm like, oh, this sounds like a really cool thing.
Right.
And so I joined, and Shanaz and I, were becoming fast friends. I was at the new member breakfast not too long after I joined, and Shanaz had mentioned to Mary Hart that, this is the girl who, you want doing your social media. Because I was telling her, this is what I really liked to do. But I don't, I'm new to Florida. What do I do? And Shanaz is, she's a hustler. She'll get out there and she'll get stuff done.
Shout out to Shanaz, man.
And she did. And Mary was like, really? And
Mary Hart of Dress for Success of the Palm Beaches,
yes.
who we all adore,
Oh
who does amazing work in the community
yes.
With Dress for Success, was our old executive director here at the Chamber. And she's just phenomenal. We adore her. So,
and I started volunteering. I volunteered my services. And this was summer of 15. The business that we bought, or that Jeff bought, wasn't what, thank goodness, wasn't what either of us intended. So we ended up selling it and traveled. We had just downsized.
You
once,
literally traveled.
Literally sold the business, got rid of everything except for what was necessary or what we could keep at our kids' houses, and bought a 40-foot motor coach and traveled.
Wow.
And if you haven't learned anything, I can't just sit.
Right. No.
My brain will go to mush. I'll be, So we were literally, Jeff had to trade in his car to get something that could be pulled by the RV. So we're sitting in a Rego, and we're talking about what I'm going to do. And he's like, well, why don't you take, the social media and get a website and create a business out of it. I'm like, oh, okay, I have an MBA.
You were just right, and you were just volunteering the services at that point, and we're in a need to do something.
Exactly.
So you picked something that you actually like doing.
I did. I liked it. It was a hobby,
right? And
I really liked it. And a couple of women had asked me, once I had started doing things for the chamber and they started seeing my work. A couple women had asked me if I would do things for them, and it just, one thing after another.
It snowballed into what it is.
It did, and my biggest fear was that I'm leaving. How am I going to keep managing the social media for the chamber? And it's digital, so no matter where I was, I could do it. And me, if I want something, I'm going to figure out how to do that.
If we've learned nothing about CaraJoy in last episode and this episode, that is definitely who you are. You're going to, if not now, when? If, whatever it kind of takes, you're going to kind of go full force with it. And you're very good at jumping out of your comfort zone. Because, you're volunteering and saying, I'm going to work hard until someone notices me. Yes. and it's going to turn into something down the road that you really, really want. And that's kind of what happened with She's Online.
It was. I actually ended up reading the bylaws of the Women's Chamber. How can I do this?
Right.
And there was something in the bylaws that said that you can create what's called a task force for a very specific reason for a very specified amount of time. So I went to the president, Sherry, and I, said this, and they approved it. And I'm traveling the United States with Jeff in an RV and 2 dogs.
And working. And that's the beauty of social media, digital, internet. It really creates a life for so many people that they maybe didn't have 15, 20 years ago, right?
Exactly.
And again, you are so good at jumping out of your comfort zone. And I think that's what people need to learn is sometimes you really need to do something maybe that you've never done before, but you really want. Volunteer first. And another thing that really stands out is that you are like a sponge and you will learn whatever you need to learn to be able to do what you want to do, right? And I think that's so key too, because a lot of people, if they can't do, find out what you can do. Maybe it is researching first.
Yes.
Maybe it is learning everything you need to know. I mean, to have all this that you see, I had to go through months of learning film and learning lighting and interviewing and things like that to get us here. And for us to do Women Mean Business. And I think it was the same for you, really.
It was.
For years, really, between, building a site that you had never done before for a organization that you really wanted to be a part of. And you're like, what's my in? How do I do this? And you weren't afraid. The fear was probably there and you still did it anyway, right? And I think that's key because, look, there's fear in everything that we do, but you can't let that stop you.
The one thing I always come back to was after I had left my career and the horrible husband, I went to
episode 1. You need to figure that out.
I landed at my bubby's house, and everything I had worked for was just gone.
Wow.
And I was waiting for Social Security to either deny or accept me. And I remember, I would hide, cover my head. I would just be in the bed, life is over. Wow. It sucks. It's horrible.
Right.
Why me? And my bubby came in the room I remember it I can tell you, it's just anyhow. And ripped the covers off of me and was like, that's it. You're done. You get up, you do something. This is not what is going. If you're gonna,
no more crying.
Exactly. I don't. And she started making me do stuff. And you know how bubbies are.
I have a baba. She has a bubby. That's another thing that we share is our love for our grandmothers that were integral parts in our life, and obviously she was a huge part in making you move forward.
Yes, and to this day, it's like, okay, so what are my options?
Right.
I can either sit here and cry and feel bad about myself. I can go do something. I still may cry and feel bad about myself.
Right, and I think we all have those moments, and I think it's important. We need to feel whatever we're feeling, but don't let that hinder you from moving forward, or else you're just going to sit there. Time's going to pass whether you like it or not, and you can choose to sit there or you can choose to move forward, right? And you are a testament, I think, of that because you've moved forward in every obstacle that you've had. And now, look, she's online. I mean, did you ever think that you'd produce? Was that even in the cards when she's online came to fruition, right?
No, I had no. I thought a producer was someone who gave a show money.
I wish that would be great if we could get that.
So it's just if something needs to be done, I have to learn how to do it.
And you totally did that.
And
I mean, there's a lot of things I think with this and with Women Mean Business that we had to learn to do ourselves.
Yes,
but I think that's made us better at what we're doing because we took the time to learn it. Everything was new. And we created something that gets, I mean, how many views did we get on that?
I was between the first set of data showed we were 10,000 views, and then another platform showed me it was 6,000. Either way, 6,000, 10,000
a lot of people
views. Either way,
for a chamber show and a digital platform.
8 weeks worth of interview, and one per week. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
For a chamber.
But we have you to thank for that because you know what you're doing. So you need to call her.
I mean, thank you, but it's the content. People are watching as well. I mean, you have done an amazing job.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. I really think it's important we're in 2019 and there's so much mess going on in the world. And I think everybody really does have a story, and that's what we're wanting to do here is bring those stories to life because there's somebody on the other side of this saying, I can't go on. No one has these problems. I don't know how to, what my next step is. And we're really bringing that to life and getting down to the nitty gritty because people go through some really hard times. And it's people that you don't think too, who seem to have it all together, who trust me don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was my big misnomer for the longest time was
really,
that I had for a very long time, I had thought that the people who were successful, were,
perfect and never had to go through dark times. Exactly. And that's why I think it's so important to talk about it, how difficult it may be, because I think it's healing for the person, but it's also, you're helping people that you don't even know. And I think when you talk about your struggles, it's really, you need to, because you're helping other people, and that's the whole goal, I think. So that's what we're doing here. And I think with what we do with the chamber, it's helping other women, and that's, it's difficult right now. We need to be doing that for each other in any way that we can. And look, here on the hub, we have men on, we've got men coming on. So that's not really, men are a part of the journey too. We can't exclude them. So
We're gender diverse.
we're so gender diverse. So she's online. Again, like, where do you see not just your journey, but the company in the next 5 years?
So I strongly believe that my life purpose is to give my knowledge to other people.
Mm.
So for the past few years, it's been client work. I've been, take on clients, you do their work. I see myself moving more into the training side of it, training business owners and their staff how to properly use social media. I mean, I can tell you,
it's not easy. Like, I think people think, just,
social media gone wrong. I have a folder of social media gone wrong. And it's also, I wanted to teach. When I went back to school, it was because I wanted to teach at the collegiate level.
Wow.
I still want to do that. When I said one more degree, I want my PhD.
Wow.
So everything that I'm doing now is, in my mind, I'm learning what behaviors and how we are online and how businesses can grow, and the behavior of the person on the other side.
Wow.
So when I do go to get my PhD, I have to bring knowledge,
Absolutely.
Something new with me, and that's I feel like I'm doing my own, my own empirical research at the moment is what I'm doing.
And again, like, I urge everybody to go watch the first episode, because everything that you've been through, you've developed a skill.
Mm-hmm.
And all those skills help you with She's Online and everything you want to do in the future. What do you think were the biggest skills that you had to learn from difficult times, a job, that really you've brought along with you, that you can kind of sit back and say, if I had not gone through that, if I had not learned this, I wouldn't have developed this to bring here?
So the one thing that I honestly think is, and this comes from not only my experience personally, but working with business owners who, I own a business. I mean, just not me, but like in general, like, okay, I own a business and I'm going to hire someone to do this, and I'm going to hire someone to do that. And that's them, right? But I come from the point of view of, if I have a business, an organization, a task, a plan, something, I need to know how all of those pieces work, because they all need to come together.
Right.
So yes, I know how to do SEO. Yes, I know how to design a website. Yes, I know how to grow a following. And these are all of the products that I offer. But I had to learn how to do that, because when we were traveling, I mean, when it comes to learning something new, I want to be the one who learned the most. I mean,
I'll attest to this, because we meet every week because we're doing communications for the chamber. And I mean, I'm getting messages and look at this, look what I found. I mean, and you, I think, feed off of that knowledge, something new. And I think you have a zest for learning.
When I say Google's in my DNA,
it really is. When I tell you I don't understand Google and I are not, we're friendlier because of CaraJoy, but this is my Google guru. It really is. You are my guru for a lot of things that you're probably sick of me calling and asking, like, well, help me out. What did I do?
No, I love that stuff. I love being able to share something that I know to make your life easier, to make your life better, to help you do something. That is what I like to do.
And as a business owner, I mean, people have to understand the knowledge and value they're getting from you. It's not just you doing social media and putting up a post. That's like the last thing I think you do, quite honestly. There's so much else that goes into that.
To me, that is mindless.
Right.
Because I can create posts for the next year.
Right.
Just sitting on my phone and
Right. There's so much other work, I think, that goes into that. Right.
Yeah. It's what am I saying? What is my messaging? I mean, it's the branding. it's all of it.
And do you think that business owners, they're really good at maybe the business side of it, and they forget they have to have all that too in today's
So what I think
market?
is someone who comes to a business is good at whatever they came to it for. Like,
That's very true.
and
Very
not
true.
the other stuff. So
Right.
they hire out that other stuff. And then when their business goes sideways, it's because they didn't learn about that other stuff that they hired out.
Right. It's not just you hiring somebody to do something that you don't know, but you still need to know how it works, why it's beneficial, and why it all works for branding purposes, correct?
Yes.
And that's very true. I think you're right. People have a niche that they created maybe a business out of, but they don't learn the rest.
Mhm.
And it really, to be a successful person, you really need to learn all aspects and components of everything. I had to learn editing. I had to learn so many other things to make everything kind of coincide with each other.
Right.
I never knew any of this stuff before. I practiced real estate for, almost 15 years. Still do that. But I had to take classes on all this. I had to learn everything.
Exactly.
I learn from you every week.
And it's reciprocity.
Right.
And speaking on reciprocity, when we went to North Carolina.
This is really huge. So this was big. We went to North Carolina and collaborated here with Cynthia at the Contemporary Living, and a magazine followed us around because we were thinking outside of the box. Yeah. She's online, collaborated with Contemporary Living, and the Power Hub was there filming Cynthia's journey in what she does. And I was doing what I do, and you were doing what you do, and someone picked up on that.
Exactly.
We had no clue that was going to happen. So we're featured in Retailer Now magazine. I will link it, and you can see the article. And that was really cool, like how collaboration has been so key in what we do. Yeah.
It is. And what you and I do, what we did with that, what we're doing with the chamber, and the things that we're doing, I did not get where I'm at because I know everything that I do.
Right.
It's because I've worked with someone, or someone has given me an opportunity and I've taken it. And if you're giving me your time, I want to know, everything I can about that.
Right. And that was so much fun because he literally, took pictures and of us filming everything. And I walked around filming everybody, and everybody was like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Because no one was doing that in High Point, North Carolina.
Of everything that's ever shocked me this year, this is the top 5 that people are coming to High Point, which is, I equated to Fashion Week for the furniture
industry. It really
is.
It's huge.
And, the idea that I brought to Cynthia was, people are really responding to you when you're in the video, when you're talking about your furniture, when you're showing how to hang a picture, how to use this.
When you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and what shows your passion.
Exactly.
People pick up on that.
And going to High Point, this is the furniture that you're going to bring into your showroom that your customers are going to buy.
Absolutely.
And let's film that. And Cynthia has become, she's gotten over that. What is this idea you're bringing to me? And now she's trusting us, trusting you definitely a lot more. And it's earned.
Yes, absolutely. Exactly. No, without a doubt.
And the fact that, they were shocked that we were coming to High Point.
We had a crew.
For content. We
did.
Really
had cool.
a crew. Yeah. For content, that it was foreign to them, still, I
because I think we take for granted what we know. Right. And this was just a no-brainer. But for everyone else, it was shocking, oh my God, what are they doing? So I think it's a testament, just you got to step outside of the box every now and again. You can't do what everybody's doing. I always say this, maybe you were the one put on this earth to create something new, and that's how I feel with the Power Hub. You have to make your own path. Sometimes it's not forged for you already. You have to be the one to go do that, and you were put here to do that, and you have to remember that. So it's really cool. So guys, check out Retailer Now Mag. I will link it because it's a really cool article, and there's a video of her that I got to film and all of that, and it's so dope. So I think collaboration has been key for everything that we've done.
Yes.
So what would you say as we close up? What would you say to somebody who's watching that also has a serious health condition in today's world, and also maybe a single mom? They don't know kind of where their kind of life is headed, but they know they're maybe meant for something, and they have all these ideas, but they just feel like life is not working out at that point. What advice would you give to them? Because again, you've been through so much, and to always land on your feet, but it was not easy to do that.
No.
So what advice would you give to somebody watching?
So as a single mom, the one thing that I would say is, I mean, I don't know, don't take other people's parenting advice.
Ooh.
I mean, you as a mom, you instinctually know. I mean,
You have to trust yourself.
you have to trust yourself. And because it worked for someone doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Right.
One.
Oh, very good.
Two, that if there's something that you want to do, but you don't know how to get started, one, Google it. Two, figure out, okay, so what is this thing that
Inside.
I want?
Yeah.
How can I, we'll just do what with social media. Who uses it? How can I get started? Just thinking of who uses the product or the service, and how can you get your foot in? And do you join a group? Do you volunteer? Something. Just, if you don't know what to do, just do one thing.
And that's the thing. I think people get so intimidated that they can't do everything, that they do nothing.
I know.
And you can't do everything, but
I
you
have
can
a
do
family
something.
member who says, if you don't know what to do, don't do anything. And I'm going to tell you right now, up until about my late 30s, that's what I grew up hearing.
Wow.
And if there was, if there was one thing that I could say don't do, it's don't do nothing. I mean,
Right.
It's like the worst advice.
Whether,
you could ever give someone.
a baby steps, 100 baby steps will create a big move a lot of times if you're consistent with it and you have focus. But do something, just a little something, research, study something, go talk to people, score. I went to score the Palm Beaches, totally changed my life. I also met Cynthia there, so you never know what those little things that you're going to do, those little baby steps that you think, oh, this can't possibly make a difference in my life, where that's going to lead you.
Everything starts with one step.
Everything starts with one step. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, and to this day, my son, I don't know what to do, Mom. Okay, let's
break it down.
Just do one thing.
One
Just
thing.
Do one thing.
So we're going to end there because I think it's amazing. Just do one thing, right? And tell everybody where they can find you.
So you can find me at she'sonlineagency.com. And if you just Google She's Online Agency, we'll pop up. And CaraJoy Nash. Just
everywhere.
Google me everywhere.
CaraJoy, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Nicole.
I think I definitely have learned just from being your friend, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Thank you so much, and I'm happy that I get to bring your story out because I know it's going to help so many people. All right, guys, thank you for watching The Hub. We will be back next time. Make sure you watch the first episode with CaraJoy, and please share, like, comment, and we thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.